Now to a Storm Track 8 weather alert as an unhealthy haze blankets the state as smoke from the Canadian wildfires engulfs Indianapolis. This city is one of multiple cities in Indiana listed as having hazardous air quality. Our tower cam caught the sunset earlier tonight, but you can see that the sky in the city is completely covered in smoke, making it barely visible to see the buildings. Our team is covering every angle tonight, so let's go ahead and start with Danielle Zolkowski.
Yeah, before heading off to breaking news earlier in the show, she was out in the conditions covering the increased health concerns for Hoosiers. This is Riley Hospital for Children is already seeing increased calls for sick kids.
Krupp is the director of the Riley Asthma Program. She says calls for children with respiratory issues are up across the board.
Kids with more sore throats, congestion, cough, asthma symptoms, asthma flares. We're also just getting a lot of calls about parents concerned about what should they be doing.
Krupp explains that children are more vulnerable because they are younger and have less developed lungs.
They breathe faster and more deeply relative to their body size than adults do. So compared to their size and their weight, they actually get a bigger dose of the air pollution than a teenager or an adult.
Air quality that is this poor can affect anyone, not just those with respiratory illnesses, and cause sinus problems, cough, chest congestion, headaches, sore throat, and irritated eyes.
What it does to the respiratory tract in particular is that it causes lots of inflammation, swelling of the breathing tubes, lots of extra mucus produced in the chest, but it also damages the lining of the breathing tubes and makes it harder for you to clear mucus out of the lungs.
The Indy Parks Department closed outdoor pools, canceled the outdoor concert series, and modified summer day camp programming to protect children from the smoke.
So we really wanted to make sure that we were doing everything possible to keep them safe. And also, our pools employ a lot of teenagers and young adults.
The Indianapolis Office of Sustainability issued a no-zone action day, encouraging people to reduce activities that increase pollution while the air quality is poor.
Folks are feeling a lot of anxiety and some worry when it comes to what we're seeing, especially because we don't have much control over something like wildfires, whether in our country or another country. It's kind of a reminder of climate change and that these issues of pollution and changing weather don't stop at borders. And so it can be scary to think about how this is going to be maybe more of a common reality.
Indy Parks and other agencies will monitor conditions throughout the week and make decisions to cancel programming in real time.
Well, these are results from our Wish TV poll on how the air quality in Indiana is affecting viewers like you. 68% say the air quality is affecting their physical health, and 17% say it is affecting their traveling schedule, but 14% say the quality is not affecting them at all. Well, let's go ahead and chat a little bit more about this, because my goodness, you feel it and you see it and you experience it the moment you walk outside.
No doubt about that. We all have allergies, and I mean, I was hit pretty hard today. Chief Meteorologist Ashley Brown joining us now. You've been covering this for about 24 hours. Things are getting better, though, right?
Yeah,
Ashley,
I mean, it's hard to believe, right? You look outside, it's still hazy. It's still hard to breathe in certain areas, right? But it is getting better, because last night at this time, our air quality was somewhere at around 260 to 272 by the end of the night. We're at 222. That's still incredibly high, which means our air quality is unhealthy. Let me break down the numbers for you. So we have an air quality alert. Why? Much of the state under it. But what the numbers mean for you is that when the numbers are at about 0 to 50, that's fantastic, right? But when the numbers get really high, you start to see this purple on the map, and Indianapolis still included in the purple. The purple, what does that mean? Well, the purple is very unhealthy air quality. We like to be right here, around 0 to 50. On a really bad day, we find ourselves in the 100, which is sensitive, but I've never seen an air quality like this. We were very close to seeing hazardous air conditions last night. We saw hazardous air conditions for many portions of the state. So not doing great with the air quality, but we're changing things. See, the flow has changed. All of that wildfire smoke came from Canada, right? We had a north wind, so it's bringing all of it right our way. It's still hazy out there tonight as we take a look, but improving conditions because the wind now moving in out of the south. It's a warmer wind direction. It's going to bring us heat and humidity, but it will filter the air as we head into tomorrow afternoon. Back to you.
Let's continue our routine coverage now with Wish TV medical expert and former U.S. Surgeon General, Dr. Jerome Adams. Dr. Adams, thanks for coming on the show.
Good to be with you, Phil.
How dangerous is the air quality today, sir?
Well, if you go to airnow.gov and put in anywhere in the Indianapolis area, really all over Indiana, you will see that it is rated as very unhealthy, which means that people are advised, quite frankly, not to go outside. I've never been in a situation in Indiana where the air has been this bad.
Yeah. So what exactly are we breathing in, Dr. Adams, and what's the impact to the body?
Well, as people have heard, this is wildfire smoke coming from Canada. And wildfire smoke is interesting because you're breathing in whatever gets burned along the way. This includes noxious gases, but also what we call particulate matter. And what's dangerous about particulate matter, Phil, is that it's smaller than a head of hair on your head, 2.5 to 10 microns. And that means when you take a deep breath, you can pull it way down into your lungs, into your bronchioles, and it can cause irritation for people who have respiratory issues. But it's even been correlated with higher rates of heart attacks. It can be pulled into your bloodstream and cause you to have cardiovascular issues.
So, Dr. Adams, who should be most concerned about this air, and what symptoms or warning signs of trouble do we need to watch out for?
Well, great question. Really, when it's rated very unhealthy, we all should be concerned. Anyone can have symptoms from watery eyes to scratchy throat to coughing. And you and I were talking before we went on air. I have asthma, and my asthma currently has been very flared up the last couple of days because of this wildfire smoke. But we particularly want to pay attention to people with lung and heart issues, children, because their airways are still developing and they're more sensitive, and older adults because they're more likely to have heart and lung conditions. What we say is close windows and doors, stay inside as long as the air quality is that bad. You can run your air conditioner, your HVAC system on recirculate because you have filters in your home which can help filter. And you should avoid strenuous outdoor activities, anything that's going to cause you to breathe deeply when you're outside and pull that air deep into your lungs.
It's summertime, kids are home on summer vacation. You usually recommend them playing outside. I know as a parent that's what I want to see my kids doing, but today would probably be the day to stay in, right?
Well, exactly. This is going to be a temporary situation. We saw it on the East Coast. It lasted for a couple of days. When the wind patterns change, this will change. You can go to airnow.gov, and again, there's a ranking that shows you unhealthy, very unhealthy. As long as we're in that very unhealthy range, I'd recommend that parents not let their kids play outside unless absolutely necessary. You don't have any other choice. And know that this too shall pass.
Yeah, one of those days where it's okay for them to stay home and play video games. Hey, one more question for you. Do you worry about the long-term effects from a couple of days with this time of the smoke?
Well, that's a great question. And from a couple of days, you're not typically worried about long-term effects. You're more worried about people who have respiratory issues, asthma, COPD, getting flare-ups. But if this persists, and some people say these wildfires can last through the end of this year, the end of this calendar year, it can increase cardiovascular complications. You'll see more heart attacks in the future, unfortunately. So hopefully they get this under control. But for right now, pay attention to those air quality ratings. Take measures that you yourself can have some control over to protect yourselves.
Wish TV medical expert and former U.S. Surgeon General, Dr. Jerome Adams, thanks so much for taking some time. We really appreciate it, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Phil. Be safe.
Well, our coverage continues online at wishtv.com. There you will find the latest closures due to the air quality and tips on how to stay healthy if you have to be outside and steps to take indoors. Just grab your phone, scan that QR code to read this story under the As Seen On section.